Hi guys, so it's Hannah from Hannah Marie Coaching, and I'm here today doing a series of conversations with other highly sensitive women and empaths in business because I think this is such an important topic to learn about how we can use our sensitivity and be like feel empowered in that and use it as a superpower in our businesses. So the beautiful ladies I've got are all going to be sharing their journey with being sensitive so that hopefully empowers you to start seeing it as a positive instead of a flaw. So welcome. I've got the lovely Lucy Pascoe today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Soaking up the sunshine.
Amazing. So just a little intro. So I met Lucy. Where was it? Yeah, it was in a meetup group, a creative meetup group in London, and we've been connected for I think about feels like ages, since about 2017, I think it was, right?
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, and with as I've been doing these, you kind of, I think women that are empathetic are just like magnets towards each other because we just get each other. So it's really lovely to have you here. And Lucy, a little bit about Lucy. So you're a soul guide and she's a life coach and energy practitioner. And when I think of your work, I think of like this expansion. You're always talking about how to be in alignment with yourself and you're like aligning with your fullest expression, which is beautiful. I love the work you do. So do you want to elaborate a little bit more about how you help like women connect with their fullest expression?
Yeah, through many ways. And I think like it's really unique to each of us because our expressions, our fullest expressions are unique and different. So what I really do is just help guide people into that space where they feel safe to fully express in whatever way it wants to come out. And there's many different ways that it can. So it's for everyone, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful because I think particularly when we are sensitive, and that's what we're kind of talking about, is like if we're not connected to our truth, things kind of feel like superficial, like we don't, if our heart's not in it, I find like it's really hard to do something my heart's not in. So
Yeah.
it's such an important thing to be able to connect with that. And I know you have so many beautiful tools you use. So what are the tools that you use to help women connect with themselves?
I think movement is a huge thing for me. So like that's what's really helped me come into my full expression is through dancing and through moving and just like really so embodiment. So really like connecting with the body and hearing and feeling and sensing and like how the energy within me wants to be expressed, because we can, over our years we store so much of it emotionally and everything in our body. So for me that's the key tool really to help people to unlock that and express. And I use other things like I do energy sessions as well, energy alignment sessions. So that's really partly that like embodiment and getting into our bodies, but then also like channeling energy through as well.
It's beautiful. I love that you said about movement because I think dance is just such a powerful tool for like connecting with your intuition as well. I often get the best like ideas after I've danced. Like they just kind of come to you, don't you? Because you're not in your head, you're in your heart and you're kind of in your body. Which I think is a really good tool for people, for us to manage our energy as well through dance and movement, as you said. So what I'd love to know, I know there's probably many experiences you've had, but to start off is like, how did you find out you were like highly sensitive, like an empath? How was it a series of experiences that led you to kind of find out about yourself?
Yeah. So I think like the first initial thing that happened in my life was, I think that I can remember, right, was in my late teens, and I experienced a lot of symptoms like within my body that were really strange and didn't make sense and couldn't be explained to me medically. So that was like the starting point, and I think from there I sort of started looking into things and trying to figure out what was going on, really.
Wow.
And then yeah, like I probably wasn't until my mid to late 20s, actually I just wrote a post on this, that I started, you know, like the universe just lines things up and you start seeing things. I saw posts about being an empath or highly sensitive and that sort of thing, and just really resonated with this. So just sort of like opened up that area for me and delved into it quite a bit more. And I feel like I've gone off what the question was. Can you just remind me what it was?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. I was saying, how did you find out that you were highly sensitive?
Oh, yeah.
You were sharing that.
So that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and seeing, sorry, I was going to say, seeing those, like coming across that information about being empathic and everything, and then being able to add up the dots and the things that had happened in my life that like related to that.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that's so powerful that you noticed as a teenager that you had those symptoms in your body, right? Because as you were saying earlier, the body is always talking to us. That's not my area of expertise, but I think if we are sensitive, we feel things even at deeper level. Doesn't mean we're better than anyone else. It's just a trait that we have, right? And you reminded me, I remember when I was younger and I used to get, you know, severe stomach pains before school every day because I was so anxious. I never knew what it was. So I think that, like you say, connecting the dots is really powerful to understanding like how it's played out in our lives as well. Yeah, it's beautiful. So because I know there's so many things you do, as you said, in your business, because then I know I've struggled so much with this of being then sensitive and feeling everything in our business and working with people, like it can feel quite draining, right? If we don't have the right tools in place.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what are your kind of the challenges that you've had to work through from being like sensitive in your business?
I definitely think, you know, picking up on other people's energy and stuff, and really being like susceptible to that and what other people are feeling and that sort of thing. And also I think initially as well, it's like putting myself out there with my business as well, because obviously for me, like from a young age, I was and actually most of us, you know, when we express ourselves as a child, we're told to suppress it. So for me, there's always been this thing about I can't show up as myself, fully as myself, because I'm not accepted, and maybe other people don't want to hear what I've got to say. So for me, that's been a challenge in my business in terms of like presenting myself and showing people who I am and what I do.
Yeah, wow, I love that you shared that. I was getting goosebumps because I think that thing of being visible is really scary as well. If you are like empathetic, that you feel everything, that you don't want to kind of take on all this stuff on social media, which can feel intense. So yeah, and it's like when you're a kid, like you say, we do suppress things as a kid, don't we? And we kind of, I think we connected with this before, is like, I think for sensitives, if you don't know how to express that part of you, you kind of lock it away and you sort of shut down your sensitivity because it doesn't feel safe to express it. I think that's a challenge many of us have. So thank you for sharing that. It's a powerful thing to do. So what do you like now, knowing that you are like have these beautiful sensitive gifts? How have you what has helped you navigate that, like showing up in your business?
100% being around other people who are showing up in their business, like, you know, especially when it comes to social media. So like following people who are showing up, who are maybe like I once was and weren't able to express themselves fully and now are, and celebrating those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it? Because then you know you're not on that journey alone as well.
yes, yeah.
Oh, because we're not. And then
No,
you know
we're
that
not.
other people are doing it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. I keep every one of these conversations keeps coming back to this idea of community and finding those people that see and hear you, you know, as an empath, because I know that's a term, but I think it's this thing of having that awareness about yourself. You then know how to manage it.
Yeah, and I think that's huge that you just mentioned that as well, that awareness. So that's been a big thing for me, is just deepening my self-awareness, like in every moment, and really learning about me and how my thoughts work, how my energy works, and how I can just come into more alignment with who I'm really meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that energy, like you said, that energy is so important, like how to manage our energy. It can be challenging as empathetic women, right? Because we kind of look outside, and I know I used to compare what everyone else is doing. I'm like, oh my God, they're working 9 to 5, like 5 days a week. And that would just burn me out. I've done it, I've tried, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, 100% with me too as well. Because we're both projectors, right, in human design, and that's like a
Mm.
huge thing. And for me, I've learned that, or I found that my maximum like working or like exerting energy time in a day is like 3 hours, like more than that, and I'm done. Like I'm so done for the rest of the
Yeah.
day.
I love that you said that. I've had another lady on here that we're both projectors, and there's that, because it's an inward, the aura is quite intense, that we don't
Yeah,
have that outward energy. So we need, you know, if anyone watching this is projector, we need more downtime. It's not being selfish, it's literally we need it to maintain our well-being, else we're going to burn out and feel exhausted and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's a really important point. If people don't know your human design, go search it, because that really helps as well to know how to manage your energy.
that's like a really beautiful thing about like learning about our own energy and how it works, because then we can realize that, okay, I'm not meant to be doing things like everyone else is doing, and that's why I feel like that. And it's okay for me to just do things my way, even though it doesn't make sense to others.
Absolutely. Yeah. Finding your way is so important. Yeah, we need to do that. So with like what would you say are like the superpowers of being like sensitive, and how, like, you know, what are they, and how do you express them in your business?
Oh, that's a good question. um I think really being able feel to feel just to feel like feeling what's going on within me, and acknowledging that and expressing that how I wish, but also to obviously specifically in business, is being able to feel what's going on within other people as well, and be sensitive to that and what they are expressing, and
Mm,
being able to like sort of use that to help them navigate.
beautiful. Yeah, it's like you can hold that safe space for them.
Yes, absolutely.
I think of it, this image came to me earlier, as almost like you know, feeling into what others are feeling. It's almost like you're going through like a dark tunnel, and you have to keep trusting how you feel, but it will eventually come
Yeah,
to the light. It will reveal the light if you stick with that kind of your
yeah.
heart. Even though you're in the unknown, you come to the clear kind of light at the end.
And
um,
also just being able to detach from what's going on like with other people as well, and the sensing what's mine and what's not.
That's a big one, isn't it? And have you have there been experiences you've had in business where you've kind of got stuck in the I don't know what's mine and what's somebody else's?
I think sometimes when I've done my energy healing sessions, definitely like there's a really fine line between like when I'm working on my own energy field and other people's. So it's like sometimes there's a bit of a blur, but I've really got to like tune in and go, okay, this is me and that's them, sort of thing.
Yeah, having those clear boundaries, which it's not always easy. Yeah,
not just like physically but energetically as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what are there kind of self-care practices you have in place to help you with those boundaries?
Like just getting enough, I mean, just in general, like getting enough nourishment for myself.
Yeah.
And making that a priority. And like we've said before, like just honoring my energy and how I feel. And if I need to change something in my schedule, or if I need to cancel something or rearrange something, to like honor that and do that without feeling like what the other person may think about that, you know.
Absolutely. I love that you said honoring your needs and your energy, because I think that's such a big one, isn't it? Like I've experienced that of having to reschedule somebody because I'm exhausted, or like I had my hay fever was really bad the other week, so I ended up rescheduling a client, and I just felt this like massive guilt, like, oh my gosh, I'm not reliable, you know, and all those, the inner critic starts on. But then I thought, well, actually, if I'm not in the best energy, then they won't get the best out of the session, right? So it's
100%.
It's knowing that, and actually the person will actually be grateful that you've done that, even in the moment it is hard to do. But yeah, I think it's knowing
like
what you need. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was saying it's like a permission slip for other people as well. And the more that we can do that and honor our energy, the more other people are able to see that that's okay to do too. Absolutely.
I love that. It's permission. Yeah, because if we kind of shut down our sensitivity and we're just going to burn out. I've done it, you know, when your body is talking to you and you just keep ignoring the signs, and then the headache gets worse or the stomachache gets worse. Yeah. And long term, that's not good for our well-being, right? If for managing your energy, if you are highly sensitive, that anyone's watching, is just really tuning into how your body feels. And if it's telling you something, digging deeper, like what is that about? You know, is it that you need to go away and journal, or like take a few hours off in nature? Whatever it is, it's so important. So yeah.
And something mind actually, like when you were talking about that, is just like the real simple thing of knowing when you need to go and take a wee and like going to do it, because I found that used to be huge for me, like, and something that I'd always ignored. Like I would feel the sensation and then I'd my typing or carry on doing the post or carry on like writing whatever it was that I was doing, and then like you just get all this tension build up in your body, and it's not good for you. It's not good for the energy of whatever you're creating. It's not good for whoever you're with or whatever you're doing. So like for me, like that's the real basics of like that nurturing and listening to my body, is that knowing when you need to go to the toilet and going.
No, it's a good reminder. It is, because if you're on the flow, you get stuck into something, right? And you just, everything goes out the window. Yeah. So it is super important. I love that you've mentioned that. So like because I know you're all about managing your energy, and you're saying about being a projector. How do your what does your day-to-day business look like? Do you sort of go with the flow and really honor your energy?
100%. Like unless I've got like a call or something booked in, obviously I honor that. unless something major comes up, but otherwise it's just really free flow and like whatever I feel like. And also, you know, I'm always, I'm not there yet, like we're never there, but I'm always like deepening that practice of just tuning into my intuition and my body and my movement and like where it wants to go and what I want to do. So no day obviously looks the same, and it could be that I just want to drive to the beach and go and chill out and maybe do a post there or something, or like I'm right in the forest, so I often like just come out here and chill out. And
yeah, but I love that though, because it is I love that you mentioned that, because it is giving ourselves permission to be in flow. Like if we follow what we feel,
yeah,
then we work with our energy instead of against it. And that's really a gift of being sensitive, is we can, you know, follow that feeling, and then we're going to be more productive. You know, like I see that you going to the beach, or, you know, taking a walk, whatever it is actually you giving to your business as well. Like I see it in that light. You are giving energy to your business because you are your business.
exactly. Yeah,
That comes first. I love that. It's great. And
I think that just on that note, like when we're doing businesses like this, it's not separate from us, is it? It's not separate from ourselves. It's just an expression of our creativity, and it yeah, it all gets to blend together.
absolutely. Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? Because you often think, and I'm guilty of this, I almost was like on the outside of my business looking in and not fully in my business. It's like I hadn't made that energetic commitment to myself and my business. It's probably partly fear of being seen, and then feeling overwhelmed because of this visibility piece you talked about. But when you have done the self-care and it's ongoing, and you have the boundaries in place, then it feels a bit safer to step out into the world and put yourself out there. It gets easier, but it's a journey that we're all on. So
Yeah.
And as like, what do you think, are there things, is there anything that's opened up for you, like intuitively, since you've really been like embracing your sensitivity?
Oh my gosh, so much. So much. Just like there's not like been anything specific, but I just feel like, you know, things like doing the movement, and especially like using my voice as well, that's really opened up a lot. And allowing myself to express through those different things has, yeah, it just brought so much in, and I'm always like just receiving new information and things.
I love that.
Yeah.
Using the voice is powerful. Like I think, you know, if we've, you know, like if we have been, we probably like the witches or whatever, like so they've been burnt at the stake, and so maybe our voices have been shut down. I definitely feel that myself. Like it's something to overcome.
Yeah.
But that self-expression gives permission for other people to do that. So yeah, and I love it because you were talking about light language the other day. Like how has that, I want to hear more about that. How has that come through?
That has come through since like opening my voice more, and like just expressing myself through voice, like in whatever wants to come out at the moment. So it's fairly new to me, like it's not something I've experienced for a long time. So yeah, it's come to me through that, and also through when I was at a cacao ceremony once, and it was like an embodied ecstatic dance sort of thing, and through that it came through too. So
Wow,
it
beautiful.
come through. Yeah,
I love that you're
just
just allowing that. I mean, cacao is really powerful. And yeah, I think when we're open to it, anything can happen,
yeah,
and we just have to trust our intuition. So I think anyone knowing you're sensitive is really leaning into that intuition, even if it doesn't make sense, right? Because sometimes we will get like guided to do something. We don't know the how, but you have to, it's about trusting ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's a journey. It's a hard one, like, but sometimes you just have to follow that nudge that you get and go for it.
Yeah, and just like no matter who's watching as well, and that's like the hardest thing, right? Because we have such a thing about what other people think, and moving into this space of just whatever wants to be expressed through you is too important not to be expressed. And yeah,
absolutely. I think you've got to trust that it's part of your purpose, you know, because I think our purpose is always evolving as we are. So if like your like language is coming through, then it's meant to be there to help, you know, help your people, help them with their self-expression. You know, like recently I've been getting all these, as you said, almost like downloads for meditations, and I'm like, I've just got to put this out there. I don't know where it's coming from. Well, like intuition, but I mean, just all these like inspired ideas that we just got to follow and trust that the right people will hear that and need to hear that. So
yeah, and they will, and they always will, I think, and that's the thing, we've just got to share it. And I think especially at this time as well, I feel like there's a lot more people receiving, like I just had a download about a post for this, but it feels like I need to share it here, is like there's a lot more people receiving like this deep wisdom and like, you know, whatever you want to call it, like information from wherever it comes from, and that might be considered, you know, very out there or very different, and we're receiving that now because it needs to be expressed. Like it's time for it to be expressed, whereas before we would have like hidden this stuff, kept it in our heads, or only shared it like within specific communities and places. Like now it just needs to be shown, and you know.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, it's so true. It's coming through for a reason.
Yeah.
I think we find the safe spaces to share it in as well, like the right communities, then we will feel seen and heard. And it's something, I don't know if you've explored this, but it's something that has come to me recently, is about looking into Lemuria and like Atlantis, and these things to be like,
I just read your post on that and I was gonna speak to you about it because I like love looking into that sort of stuff.
Right. So it's this, but this was new to me, and I've always heard of Atlantis, not really connected with it. And I had this very powerful, like kind of intuitive reading, like I don't know, about a few weeks ago, and it was just so strong that this card came out, and I think it was Lemurian crystal, and it was about how, you know, almost what are you doing in this part-time job, like that was what I asked for guidance on. It's like you what are you doing there? You know your purpose, just get on with it. And it was like, you're from Lemuria, which is why I've never really felt like I belonged here. Which might sound out there, but I think a lot of us maybe feel like that, right? Like this not belonging here and having a big mission to fulfill.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've all got like that. We've got DNA in us from different places and lifetimes and all of the things, and at the same time, like this is our home because we are experiencing this experience through this physical body, but we also have the knowledge and I don't know, information from like all these other aspects of life and creation and like the whole entire existence.
Absolutely.
Like within us, and we've got access to that, and we're here in this human like space at the moment to express it and to reconnect with it.
I love that. I love that it's coming through. Yeah, it's so powerful. And particularly, I think if we are empathetic, we can pick up on those finer energies. You know, we're here to be the healers, the teachers, the, you know, coaches. Doesn't mean we're better than everyone else, but that's part of our mission, I believe, because we pick up on the finer details of things. So we can really hold that kind of higher, that love vibration, that peace for everyone. That's what I feel. So it's like being an avatar. See, I'm meant to be an avatar or something. So I mean, you shared so many amazing insights, and I know it'll be really helpful. So just to kind of leave on a piece of wisdom, like if somebody's feeling like really overwhelmed, that they're sensitive and they kind of just found this out about themselves, like what would you say to them? What kind of guidance would you give them?
I think the first thing I would say is that like it's okay, like whatever you're experiencing and whatever like emotional response you're experiencing is okay to feel, and like you're meant to fully feel that because that's part of your like superpower and your sensitivity. And then to, you know, seek out other people who have been through this or are experiencing this too. And you know, we're really blessed that we've got this online platform where we can connect with anyone in the world. I mean, if you just type in, you know, whatever the labels you want to use are, highly sensitive, empath, whatever it is, you will be able to connect and find people who are also experiencing this.
Beautiful. I love that. Like you said, being able to feel, trusting that.
Yeah.
Because it is a trait, you know, if you're new to this, it is a trait you're born with. It's almost like I describe it, or maybe it's in the book I've read, describes it as, it's like you have green eyes or you have blue eyes. It's just something you're born with. So doesn't mean we're like any different. It just means we're kind of, I think there's only 5% of the population. So I guess there's less of us, but as you said, we can find the right people to guide us along the way. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing. There's so much wisdom there, and I know you have so much to share with the world and are sharing it. So thank you for being yourself and being vulnerable.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for creating this space and all the beautiful work that you do too.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. All right, lots of love.
Yeah, to you too. Take care.